Hey, this is Dustin with Boomers Outdoors, and a couple of weeks ago I did a review of some inexpensive backpacking tents that you can get on Amazon. But today I'd like to do a review of my tent of choice. This is a tent I've been using for the last couple of years on the trail, and I want to go over with it to you today. It is the Kelty All Inn 3-person backpacking tent. And I will tell you up front that this backpacking tent is not available in a 3-person anymore. It is still available out there in 2-person size. There's quite a few of them out there now, and you can get them on sale. I've seen them as low as $199. But this tent is actually a step up from the tents that I showed you a couple of weeks ago on my reviews, the cheaper polyester tents. This tent is made of better materials, and I want to just go over it with you today and show you what you get as you move up in tents. This is not the very best, but this is a good tent. So let's open this thing up and see what's in it. So let's break down the components of this Kelty tent. First of all, you get the fly. The fly weighs 1 pound, 8 ounces. You get the body of the tent, which weighs 1 pound, 13 ounces. You get 2 poles, one long pole that covers the entire body of the tent, then one that goes across the brow of the tent. These weigh 1 pound, 6 ounces. You get 10 stakes, nice aluminum stakes, 4 guy ropes. They weigh a total of 4 ounces. The total weight of this tent in the bag, and I did weigh it with electronic scale, is 4 pounds and 15 ounces. It's not the lightest backpacking tent in the world, but for 2 people, or for 3 potentially, that's not much if you split it up between each other. So let's set this puppy up. But instead of setting up here in Alabama, let's go someplace exotic. Let's set this thing up maybe at Cobalt Lake at Glacier National Park. Let's go. So we're back in Alabama, and I set the tent up without the fly on it because I want to show you some things that make this tent really unusual. First of all, if you'll notice, this tent is almost all mesh compared to the tents that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, the polyester tents. The top and both sides of this tent are complete mesh. This is a 15 denier noseeum mesh. Both ends of the tent do have fabric, but I'm going to show you something that's really neat about that in just a minute on the front end of the tent. The fly of this tent and the floor are made of a 40 denier Ripstop Nylon that's siliconized. When it comes to backpacking tents, polyester is your entry-level fabric, and it's usually polyurethane coated. Polyester has to be heavier because it's not as strong as nylon, so most of your polyester tents are going to be like a 75 or 65 denier nylon. With your backpacking tents, the lighter weight, they're going to go lighter and lighter weights of nylon. In fact, the really lightweight ones are 15 or 20 denier siliconized fabric. The only thing better than a siliconized nylon material that I know of is a Dyneema fabric, and that stuff is completely waterproof. That stuff is like 16 times stronger than steel, but it's also really expensive. So most tents you're going to see out backpacking, are either going to be polyester. The vast majority are going to be siliconized nylon. Another thing that's awesome about this tent are the poles. The poles are DAC aluminum, which is a very strong aluminum, and it's very lightweight. But there's really only 2 poles on this tent. The pole that covers each end of the tent and makes the arc, and the pole that goes down the center from end to end is all one pole held together with shock cord. Then that one small pole that goes across the brow of the tent is the second pole. So that's pretty awesome. You can just sling those things together and pop them in there. Notice the doors. It has 2 doors on the sides that are D-shaped, and they open really easily. That's pretty awesome. And you have your tie backs. Inside the tent, the dimensions are 84 inches in length, 70 inches in width, 42 inches in height. But now let me show you something about this tent that's it's just a unique feature. That's all I can say. This is a 3-person tent, and you could get 3 people in here with 24-inch pads. But look here. We have a 3rd door. It makes it possible to get in through the tent and out through the front of the tent. That's just awesome. That adds a little bit of weight to the tent, but it's just a neat feature. So if that person in the center needs to get out in the middle of the night, they don't have to crawl over the top of you. Now check this out. I'm going to zip it back up. Now look at that. There's also a window in the 3rd door, and it's covered by this awning. So if you have light rain, you're not going to get any rain in there, and you're going to get even more ventilation. This tent, I can testify after using it for a couple of years now, has tremendous ventilation. In fact, it has so much ventilation, it's almost not good to use in cool weather. Although we've used it when it's down to 30 degrees and didn't freeze to death in it. So let's get the fly on it, and I'll show you what it looks like with a fly. Now at the beginning of this review, I told you that the 3-person Kelty tent is no longer available, and that's true. The only one that's still out there is a 2-person, but there are some differences I want to point out on the 2-person tent. First of all, it does have the front door, but it only has 1 side entrance and 1 vestibule. So you're limited to 1 side entrance, 1 vestibule, and the front door. So you're missing a vestibule. So that could be an issue for 2 people. And that's another reason I picked the 3-person tent instead of the 2-person. I just wanted the room too. I don't know if I told you at the beginning of this review, but there is another manufacturer that makes a tent that's almost identical to this. The only difference is it does not have the 3rd door. It doesn't have the front door, but the look of it is virtually identical. And that is Serra Designs makes a tent called the Meteor. They have the Meteor 2 and the Meteor 3. It also comes in 2 versions, the Meteor 2 and Meteor 3 Lite, and then the regular. And the difference is, to get the tent that's very, very similar to this, you got to get the Meteor 2 or 3 Lite, because it is made of the steel nylon material, whereas the regular Meteor tent is made of polyester. Now, there's not a huge difference. You don't have that 3rd door, but you do on both the Meteor 2 and 3 have both sides vestibules. But the weight is almost identical. If you get the Meteor Lite 3, the dimensions are almost identical. The material is very similar. I think it has a 20 and 30 denier nylon instead of a 40. But the weight also on that one is 4 pounds, 15 ounces. If you drop down to the polyester version of Serra Designs Meteor tent, Meteor 3, it weighs 5 pounds, 6 ounces. So it's only 7 ounces more, but the cost is considerably different. I think there's a $150 cost difference between the Meteor Lite and the regular Meteor. But there again, you're getting steel nylon versus polyester. So if you like the design of this tent and you think it's awesome and you want to get a 3-person version of this, I don't think you can find a 3-person version anywhere, but you could check out the Serra Designs Meteor tents. They're very similar. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Kelty All Inn 3-person backpacking tent. This is my baby. It's the one Karen and I have been using for the last couple of years, and we love this tent. It's like the Taj Mahal inside. It's not the lightest weight, but it is made of better materials than most of your beginner tents. Now, this tent is no longer available, as I said before, but the 2-person version is still out there if you want to get it. It's a little bit smaller. It's, I think, 51 inches in width. Length is the same. It only has the 1 vestibule, but it's an awesome tent also. If you want a tent that's almost like this, check out the Meteor 3-person backpacking tent, the Meteor and the Meteor Lite by Serra Designs. It looks like they almost copied each other, except there is no front door on the Meteor tent. Be looking for videos coming out in the future. Karen and I and my son David are getting ready to head out to Glacier National Park again. We're going to do some backpacking in the 2 Medicine area on a different route this time. We're going to try to get more hikes in this time and send out some really great videos, and be looking for reviews in the future. I'll do some reviews as I get more gear. Need to do a review on our sleeping pads. We have some awesome sleeping pads, and they make a huge difference when it comes to your sleep system along with your sleeping bag. So hope to see you out on the trail, and look forward to seeing you after we get back from Glacier. Bye.